For more on the devastation in Kentucky and Tennessee, I'm joined now by Pastor Stephen Boykin. He's the lead pastor with His House Ministries in Mayfield, Kentucky. Pastor Boykin, thank you so much for joining me tonight. How are you? How's your community doing tonight?
You know, we're not unfamiliar with disaster, unfortunately. We had the tornado in 2021, and we have seen so much that's come good out of it. But in the moment that it happened, it was just so devastating. We had flooding ourselves again in 23 in July. And then as we faced this weather event, we were very concerned about what that was going to look like. We went ahead and opened our church up as a temporary shelter. We're very intentional now. Anytime there's a weather report, we love our community. And what better way to share hope whenever there is something going on like this, to give people the hope we have in our faith in Christ and point them to something tangible that they can receive. And so we've come out okay in Mayfield, but a community just south of us in Reeves, Tennessee, about 40 minutes south, the levee broke there. And so now we're working with other national nonprofit leaders to both respond there. And then what you just reported on in Pikeville, we've already been able to coordinate some relief efforts there. We want to pay forward the good that we've received to help others in disaster, because we recognize how great a need there is right now in our community, but also in our region and in our state.
Yeah, Pastor, you mentioned that your community is no stranger to disaster. In 2021, you talked about that deadly EF4 tornado touched down in Mayfield. Then in July 2022, historic rainfall through eastern Kentucky, catastrophic flooding. We're seeing pictures of that there. Talk to us. You use the word resilience, and I think that's important. Talk to us about the resilience of the community, people you're talking to, and how they're dealing with what feels like a cycle of extreme weather there.
Absolutely. A lot of people there's an unseen disaster. We're already in this epidemic of mental health in our world today. I don't think it's just a national thing. And people are feeling all of this transition. And then when you put natural disaster on top of that, there is such a heaviness. I know for us, we've had another tornado since our first tornado, May 26 last year. And so when people see these things, it begins to work on you a toll. But that's, again, while we point people to hope. We've actually formed a nonprofit, the Hope Initiative. We're responding in Douglas, Georgia, from Hurricane Helene. Now we're going to respond in some of these other regional disasters as well. But I think the presence of people in times of distress offers people hope, whether it's a warm blanket, whether it's just a listening ear. But we have an opportunity. We also have a responsibility, I think, to come together in times like this. This is not a left or a right thing. This is just something we come together. We've seen our governor respond in such an incredible way in our state. He's even opened up the state park. I was talking to his office earlier today. I think Jen Wiley State Park is already at capacity, and yet they're continuing to make provision for people. It's a playbook that seems to work as people get the opportunity to have temporary relief. And then I've seen faith-based nonprofits come together and respond in such a way that helps so many people. There is such a great need, and I think all of us can get involved.
Pastor, what's the biggest need right now in your region? What do you need from the federal and local governments?
What I'm seeing there in Reeves, there is going to be a great need for volunteers. The first responders, I was on the phone yesterday with the chief there in Reeves. He was doing an incredible job coordinating, working. There were people there wanting to come together. There's some local churches in that community coming together. They're going to need volunteers for Muck Out. And that's a community that may not get the same attention as Mayfield did with us, or even Pikeville. I was on the phone earlier. There's already 3 or 4 national partners headed there, and I'm so thankful for that kindness and generosity. But this smaller community, I've heard 250 to 300 homes inundated with water. There's going to be a great need for volunteers to come together. There will be some resources, but people come together, boots on the ground, help these folks in a impoverished area to put the pieces back together of their lives.
All right, Pastor Stephen Boykin, thank you so much, and good luck to all of you.
Absolutely. Thank you.